At the start of season 2, we find Matthew and Diana as they land into Elizabethan London, 1590. For Diana being a historian, this is her biggest dream.
Where are we?
Not where I'd hoped. She gets to go back. We feel like she thrives in this environment.
This is everything she knows and what she's studied, and so for her, it's just absolutely fascinating.
Old St. Paul's. It's huge.
Matthew and Diana as a couple, in our heart of hearts, we know that the bond between the pair of them is strong. In the series, it's about them existing in the 1590s and the challenges that they have to face.
In season 2, it's a very interesting dynamic for Matthew and Diana because they've just time jumped. Soon she discovers that the Matthew that she knows from season 1 is very different in Elizabethan times.
You're Matthew Royden. The School of Night, Matthew Royden. The only member of the group that we know nothing about.
For good reason. Now I have to become him again. One of the things about season 2 is that he regresses. Has to sort of take 500 years of learning away and go back to being this guy who hated witches. So think about that psychologically, of going back into a different time. It really affects Matthew having to step back into his footsteps.
What Diana is expecting is to be navigating this world with the Matthew she knows, and that is not the Matthew she gets. She gets to know Matthew Royden, who is a little darker, a little edgier, a little more violent. Protect me! And completely distant from her, which creates issues within their dynamic.
How am I supposed to protect you if you won't share things with me?
All right. Where were you tonight?
I told you. I had people I had to reach out to.
The love, the one familiar she has in this place, is not someone she can recognize.
I've never run scared of anything in my life. I simply won't take risks where your safety is concerned.
Well, I'm not staying locked up in here.
Diana finds herself wondering whether she's made a mistake. What have we done coming back here? Why is this bringing up? It's triggering so much for Matthew.
She has to step up a little bit also to help look after Matthew mentally, because he starts to lose himself with all of the problems that are going on in the world, all the things that he has to do, which are things he doesn't want to do. We start to see Diana's character really become strong. Her relationship with Matthew, she really comes to the forefront.
My character is Christopher Marlowe.
Who the hell are you?
In our story, he's referred to often as Kit.
Kit Marlowe was a famous playwright. He was accused of being a spy and various other things, and he ended up being stabbed. He is part of the School of Night with Matthew Royden and Walter Raleigh. He's Matthew's closest friend in the past. When he gets back, it goes a little bit pear-shaped.
Unbeknown to him, the Matthew that returns is the Matthew that we know from season 1, from the future. He becomes quite obsessed with this new version of Matthew and what that means to him, and the loss of love that he feels when he's kind of cast aside in favor of Diana.
This is Diana. And if you want to keep a tongue in your head, you will speak of her with respect.
In season 1, we had some interesting family dynamics that Diana and Matthew had to navigate. My aunts weren't very fond of Matthew.
Hey, Sarah.
What are you doing hanging around with a vampire?
Matthew's mother, Isabeau de Clermont, is not a fan of mine. Season 2, we have our own version of that with the dynamic between Matthew, his father, Philippe de Clermont, and then, of course, Diana.
Explain yourself.
Philippe de Clermont and Matthew de Clermont is a tricky relationship.
Matthew comes back to visit Philippe in Sept-Tours. He introduces him to Diana.
Well?
The concept for Philippe of Matthew arriving with a witch
I'm here.
completely blows his mind.
As commanded.
And that is your explanation?
He's not particularly fond of witches, so he really has profound difficulty with understanding that Matthew could be with another species.
Ostensibly, this is a much darker season. There's a lot of cat and mouse play with a lot of characters.
You actually see how much depth that ends up bringing ultimately to their relationship and to their bond.